Yo, this medieval Stranger Things episode is weird. So Drake's former texting buddy, also known as Millie Bobby Brown.
What about your relationship with Drake? Tell me about your friendship. How did this all come about?
I love him. I met him in Australia, and he's honestly so fantastic and a great friend and a great role model. You know, we just texted each other the other day, and he was like, "I miss you so much." I was like, "I miss you more."
Huh? Has made a movie. And so Netflix loves Millie Bobby Brown. She basically grew up on the platform, and it's very safe to say that almost anything with her name attached to it is probably going to get produced by Netflix. Millie Bobby Brown plus dragons plus medieval equals success. Now, let me tell you, success does not equal good movie. Success equals more people streaming the service. So I wanted to make sure to add that part before I continue on with this review. So in hindsight, they basically almost created a premise instead of an actual movie in itself, and they wrote around it, but I don't feel like they actually finished writing it because there is a massive plot hole in the movie that we'll talk about towards the end of the video. To be able to watch this without getting a headache requires three things. One, you have to realize that a talking dragon can be done. Two, that dragon was not trying to kill Millie Bobby Brown. Three, princesses do manual labor now. So yeah, Millie Bobby Brown does her best to carry this really dumb plot, but there is not much she can do. She was basically doing her Tomb Raider audition for like 20 minutes into the movie, and you know, take it or leave it, but I didn't really care for it too much. To be honest, halfway through the movie, I started rooting for the dragon. I was like, listen, you can do it. Yeah, I started like slowly cheering for her. But then when there were just very obvious points where the dragon was supposed to easily be able to kill the main character, but just chooses not to, that's when I kind of lost it a little bit, but that's here nor there. So now I want to talk about spoilers for the actual movie in itself. Like I said, again, spoilers, you can turn away now if you want to go and watch the movie, but I gotta talk about the actual plot. So spoilers in the movie. This movie is essentially about a king who kills a dragon's 3 daughters. In return for the dragon not burning down the kingdom, every generation of that kingdom that has royal bloodline has to sacrifice 3 princesses to the dragon. The dragon is capable of smelling the actual royal bloodline, and I still don't know how that part works. The problem is almost every single princess that was dropped in that cave was not of royal blood, right? So, at least royal blood of that actual king. So how were they able to fool this talking dragon? Well, they would cut random girls' blood and mix it with their royal blood, and the dragon cannot tell the difference. This is where the plot hole kind of shows up in the movie. The kingdom kept going to like smaller kingdoms and basically buying princesses, right? And when we discover that they've been fooling the dragon for like years with this blood trick, you kind of realize that they didn't really need princesses because they have you think that they have to go through this whole ceremony and everything to be able to like actually fool the dragon. You realize they could have just got any girl to like do this. So it takes away the idea that Millie Bobby Brown's character had to be a princess. I don't think it was necessary for her to be a princess in this movie for this to work out. And in fact, it actually hurt them if she was a princess. If anything, the princess thing would make it a big liability because people would start warning other kingdoms about this. The princess would, like you think you know, when you go back to your kingdom and your princess is no longer there, you say something, like the news would spread. That's why it doesn't make sense that they had to keep choosing other princesses from other kingdoms. That part just didn't make any sense to me. There's a point in time in the movie where you actually can see the princesses who died. And I'm like, man, they was going all over the world to get some of these princesses. I'm talking about like they were like hitting the whole spectrum of races. I'm like, well, by the time I'm like, well, I mean, you would think they would get to their kingdom a little bit closer because like, listen, they were getting some kingdoms where it's like, okay, you got an Asian daughter and a black daughter. I'm like, I don't know, that part's not believable. Yeah, I probably would have, got a couple of closer kingdoms first instead of like reaching out to Africa or something. That's my thoughts on that part. But yeah, this movie is basically, I would say it's entertaining, and the best compliment I'm gonna give it, and this is the only compliment I'm gonna give it, is that this is the best female-led action movie I've seen this year. I mean, it beats out Madam Web, so I guess, you gotta start off somewhere. So yeah, this movie is definitely like a 4 out of 10 for me. I'm your boy Rant, and I'm out.